room without holding on to anything. I can even get up without holding on to anything.
That's awesome.
Which is quite an accomplishment.
You know what's really awesome that you can do that blows my mind is that you have a favorite sport. What's your favorite sport?
My favorite sport is tennis.
And you play tennis how often?
I play tennis 3 days a week.
And how many games of tennis do you play?
Oh, I've lost count. And each day we might play maybe 10 or 12 games. We don't do the ad part because it makes the game too long.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just when you get to juice, whoever gets the point wins the game. Right?
All right. So what have you been able to do now that you weren't able to do before you did a hair tissue analysis and took your hair tissue analysis mineral profile? What are you doing now that you couldn't do before? Or what couldn't you do before?
Actually, I could play tennis before, but I didn't play tennis as well as I play. I can move better, which is wonderful. And I just find it much more enjoyable because I don't have the aches and pains that I used to have. Because my left knee was really bothering me. And now it doesn't bother me at all. So it's really good.
Good.
To do that.
So what did you learn in today's visit? Because you're always learning something. What did you learn in today's visit?
I learned that I should never eat olive oil or coconut oil or any of the other avocado oil I can't even eat.
No, but you can eat an avocado.
Oh, okay.
But why was that important? What was your concern for today that made you come in?
Inflammation. My left leg was swollen and I was really concerned about it. There was no pain with it, but you know, who wants to look like you have elephantitis? Because that's what it looked like.
And before you came in, I asked you to do one thing. I asked you to tell me what you ate prior to the swelling, and you confessed that you were eating coconut oil and olive oil, and we understand that those things create inflammatory responses. Was that eye-opening for you?
Yes, it was, because I always thought olive oil was better than vegetable oil, and I thought coconut oil was even better than olive oil. And now I find out it's not better.
And that's because of, do you remember why?
Because when you heat it, it loses it becomes, what is it? I can't think
Oxidative.
Oxidated, and it's not good for you.
Right. And that creates inflammation.
It gets into your skin and it creates inflammation.
The exact thing that you didn't want.
Right.
So the interesting thing about this is we also learned that when you are having a dis-ease, and I'm connecting the word when your body is not happy, it's because of three things. Do you remember what those three things are?
I didn't reflect.
Well, not necessarily reflect, reframe, renew. You're getting into the from panic to empowerment stuff, which is awesome because you do know that.
Right.
But it's also what we ate, what we drank.
Whenever I have a problem, what I should do is question myself is, what did I eat that caused the problem?
Because the body just doesn't break down on its own. We did something to it or gave it something, and it's just doing what? Responding.
That's really what it's doing. Yes, it's responding. So then you go back over, what did I eat? And then you don't eat that anymore.
Yeah. And so what is your favorite part of coming to your healing place?
First of all, I think Dr. Reid is a wonderful person, and I really enjoy interacting with her.
Thank you.
I also learn a great deal, and as a result, I go home and I do research and I do a lot of reading, and I'm finding out that things that I believed all my life are not true. And it's very interesting because you discover why we're encouraged to eat certain things that's not good for you. So that's one, and I really feel that coming to see Dr. Reid has helped me tremendously. I don't have the pain. I don't take any painkillers And people don't believe me. You know, they look at me like I've lost my mind. What do you mean you don't take any? I don't even take any painkillers. I don't need them. You know, if I have a problem with a spot, I'll use core olive oil, and that gets rid of it.
Core olive leaf. You got to stay away from that
Core
oil.
olive leaf. Oh, right. Core olive leaf, right.
Yeah.
And that really helps a great deal. I even use it with my dogs and cats. My 2 cats. I don't have a dog. My 2 cats. They don't like it, but, you know, I don't care.
And what have you come to learn about core olive leaf?
What I have learned is that it's almost a cure-all. I know that's sort of blanketing it, but you can use it for just about anything.
Yeah, core olive leaf is an antimicrobial, so that means anti-parasitic, antifungal, antibacterial, anti. So if you have any cuts or bruises or infection anywhere, core olive leaf is the remedy of choice.
Yeah, I burn my hand and I put some on it, and I don't have this scar or anything. Yeah, it really works.
So what is your take on the Zyto scan? How do you feel about that?
I'm really interested when I do a Zyto scan to find out how many things are out of whack in my body, and if it's improved over, because originally the first one that I had, I think it was something like 88 things were out of 121, which is scary, right? really scary. And it's interesting to see how it has developed over the time, the years, because I think it's 2 years?
Yes. And so what would be your advice to anyone who is kind of on the fence about natural healing practices? What would you say to them?
I think what a person who's on the fence should think in terms of what is best for them. Try it and really follow it to the letter. It doesn't really work if you're going to say, I'm going to do it, and then you don't do it. You have to not eat the things that you're supposed to not eat, and eat the things that you are supposed to eat. You can't, it doesn't work in a vacuum. It's an overall picture where you have to change your lifestyle. It's just as simple as that, and it's not as easy as it sounds, because you want that peanut cluster, right? You love that peanut cluster.
Yeah.
But after a while, you might eat one and you say, well, I really didn't want that. You don't crave the sweets, which is a good thing. Yeah.
And can I ask you one last question? Did you finish reading From Panic to Empowerment?
Yes, I did.
And can you give us an overview of what you thought about that book? You can be honest. If it was horrible, I don't mind. I'm writing a new one. I could always improve.
I think the book, and I was so impressed with the book that I actually bought one and sent it to my daughter, because what it does is it gives you the sense that you can be in charge of what's going on with your body. And we're not taught that. We're taught, oh, you have that pain, let me give you something for it, as opposed to finding out what's causing the pain. And that's what I learned from Panic to Empowerment. And I really was intrigued by the book.
Well, thank you, because I wrote it for you.
Oh, did you?
I did. I wrote it for every client who had a problem and couldn't figure out what it was. And so when we learn how to understand that we are spirit, mind, and then a body, then healing is possible. But if you only think about health in terms of just being, what can I fix my body, then you're never going to get well, because you're neglecting the other 2 parts of yourself. So the main idea of the book was to attempt to integrate every client so they can feel empowered, to do the things that you and I are doing with the Zyto scan and the core olive leaf and the hair tissue analysis, because all those things come together. And because of that, you're able to find your place of wellness in your life. And that was my goal.
I think you achieved that goal.
I pray so. So it's just like with anything else. A book is only as good as the person who read it and understood it. A program is only as good as if you follow it. And none of it is magic unless you execute it. What would you say?
I would agree with all of those points. And one of the things that I would like to say is that the people who are on the cusp should think in terms of, will it make me a better person?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Are you a better person?
I think so.
I think so. I think you're one of the sweetest, pure persons I've ever met.
Oh, yes.
So, thank you so much for agreeing to do this interview. And I'm very grateful for you taking extra time after your visit. And I'm probably cutting into your tennis time. Sorry.
That's okay. If it doesn't rain, I might go to the court.
Okay.
And hit a few balls. I have some balls in the car. And my tennis racket is there, and my tennis shoes are there, so I can do that.
So, one last question. How do you think baby boomers could benefit from what you do here at your healing place?
I think baby boomers could benefit from really getting involved with it and doing the things that's necessary by making sure the foods that you eat are what they're supposed to be, and taking the proper supplements and the things that Dr. Reid, require or ask of everybody. And people tend to think, oh, I'll just do it for a short period of time, or they skip it and, oh, I don't feel like doing it. And you have to think in terms of what's best for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
We're taught not to think of ourselves first, and that's not good, because you think of someone as thinking of themselves as being selfish, and that's not true. If you think of yourself, if you keep yourself well, then you can take care of other people. If you don't do that, then you're not healthy enough to take care of other people.
You are so right. Oh my goodness, that just taps into a taboo. And one of the taboos I talk about in a new podcast that's coming up is about selflessness and selfishness. It's completely okay to be selfish, because just like you said, if you don't take care of yourself, you don't have anything left to give anybody else.
That's true.
But selflessness turns you into a martyr, and that only creates resentment and frustration, and that creates disease.
That's true. That is so true.
Yeah.
But most people are taught that from little tot all the way up.
Yeah.
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 Everybody else comes before you, which is not true.
Mm-mm.
What is it they say if you're on an airplane that's dying? Put your mask on first. Right. If you pay attention, they put yours on first.
Exactly. And so our healing journey we're on a survival path, aren't we? We're trying to survive.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We're trying to survive.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah. And what is the age? How old? How many years? How many more birthdays do you want to have? I know a 107-year-old. I used to say that I wanted to live to 100 until I met her, and I bumped it up to 110. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, if she lives 3 more years, she'll be 110. I think I got to bump it up some more to 120. So, how many more years are you looking forward to now that you understand how to take care of yourself?
That's a very good question, and I don't want to be a person who has to depend on someone else to take care of me.
Mm-hmm.
So if I can take care of myself, then I think at least 30 years.
And that'll take you to over 100.
No, that'll take me to 110.
Over 100, right? 110. So we're in the same 110 club.
Okay.
So
all right.
without telling us, you shared your age, but it's up to you whether you want to share it because you look so good.
I don't mind sharing my age. Actually, I'm very proud of my age.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So give us the scoop.
I'm 80 years old.
That is awesome and amazing.
Right.
Awesome and
Nobody
amazing.
believes me. They always want to see my driver's license.
I don't believe you either. That's why I have to keep telling you to remind me. But I'm grateful that you have found value at your healing place and that I was able to bring information to your life that's helping support the journey that you said you wanted. So at 80 years old, you are playing tennis, loving life, and in a few days, you're going to get on a plane and go jet set into where that you're not taking me with you to?
I'm going to Paris. And I play tennis very well.
Of course. Of course.
Very well. I have
Good.
a great backhand.
You got a great... All right. And so last but not least, what is your last words of wisdom as an 80-year-old woman who plays tennis and using natural remedies to stay well? Do you take any prescription drugs?
I do.
What do you take?
I take, what is it? Bistolic, 5 milligrams.
And what is that for?
That's for high blood pressure.
And high blood pressure is a calcium deficiency. It's also caused by inflammatory response. So what would you think if we got rid of the inflammation out of your system so your body could absorb the nutrients that we're getting it? More than likely, you will not need your hypertensive medication because your blood pressure will go back to normal. So that's our next endeavor. Would you agree?
I agree. And I was reading that they changed the guidelines for high blood pressure.
Yep.
And I don't agree with them. They say you should consider the age of the person when you're doing what the guidelines. But they have, what is it, up the ante, so to speak. And I think that's to keep people taking blood pressure medicine. Oh, too many people are not taking it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's lower the guidelines,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
which is not a good thing.
Yeah.
So,
Any last words of wisdom before we go?
come see Dr. Reid. She will help you if you help yourself.
That is a mouthful. Yes, this is a partnership.
Yes.
I partner with you.
She can't do it by herself. You have to commit.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And I really, really appreciate you coming in. And I'm so grateful that you trust me on this journey and you allow me to be a part of it.
Well, thank you. It's been a pleasure. I'm glad you asked.
All right. Signing off. Take care.
Okay.
Bye-bye.